Hi everybody, Eleanor and Jazz here from Nesta Invest, and you're watching Hot Property Q&A. Questions asked by you, answered by us, so you can gain more knowledge and insight into the property world and beyond. So in this video, we're going to be looking at property valuations and just how to look at them when you are considering buying a property. So obviously you've got a CV and then you have a registered valuation, or that property valuation we're referring to in this video. How do you differentiate, firstly, both of them?
So there's current valuations and then there's registered valuations. So registered valuation, I'll start off with that. That's more valuable for what we do. So registered valuation is when a registered professional comes to your house, goes through your property, looks at everything, looks at your chattels, looks at the condition of your house, interior, exterior, looks at the area, and compares with recent sales. So he gives you a value based on all of that. It's a lot more accurate. It's a lot more accurate than a CV which gets done from a desktop. Maybe they drive up to your gate and that's as far as they go.
Wow.
And it's done every, I think 2 to 3 years. I'm not too sure, but 2 to 3 years. So hence why I don't really pay too much attention to it.
Yeah, so you'd be more interested in the registered valuation.
Yeah, that's right.
So, importance of a valuation, how important is it from a buyer's perspective?
So I guess from a buyer's point of view, you need to know what offer you put into the property. What you offer on a property is worth the property itself. So, that you're not offering too high. So you need to know what the value of the property is, what the recent sales are compared to a similar property. That's where it comes in. That's handy.
It's important in that buying process. How accurate is it? So what are the contributing factors that maybe get you a good registered valuation versus maybe not so good? I don't know. Are there contributing factors that affect this?
Yeah, definitely. So registered valuation is actually a dark art from my point of view. So
that sounds scary.
It is. So when a valuer comes to your house, there's quite a few factors. So as I said, what the chattels are, what suburb you're in, that's quite important. It even goes down to what street you're in as well. So a lot of details put into it, how your landscaping is, how tidy your house is. Even though, it affects a little bit, little things do add up when a valuer comes to your house, his impression of the house. Sometimes if it's even staged, that can add a little bit of value to it.
Yeah.
Because if it's an absolute mess and a dump, obviously the valuer is going to look at it and his impression would be, because it's his own personal opinion too. So when he comes into the house, if he sees rubbish everywhere, it'll be valued a little bit less versus when you spick and span and tidy and polished.
Yeah, so if you are looking at actually selling your house, then that's definitely something to keep in mind too, as a side note, to make sure you have everything ship-shape.
Yeah, and from a buyer's point of view too, when a buyer comes to your house, you want it nice and clean and tidy.
So obviously as well, you're talking about physical houses. What about if you're buying off the plans? How does that valuation work then?
So buying off the plans works in a similar way as well. So the valuer goes through the plans individually. So for us, for example, Alfred Street, I'll use that as a perfect example. So when we started, we got a valuation done, say 700,000. I'll just use rough numbers. Got a valuation done. They looked at the plans, they looked at the chattels, they looked at the condition, what all the products we used, and then they give you a valuation based on that. Also, what the rest of the apartments are going for, and when we've ended up finishing, when we ended up settling, the values had gone up by 50 to 70,000.
Wow.
So yeah, quite a bit increase, and not over an overly long period. It was only, I believe, 6 months or 7 months. So yeah, and it's still increasing now.
So that was a good, benefit, I guess, for them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of, you've got a registered valuation, there's all those factors tidying in. So when you do actually get your valuation, do you use this as a benchmark then when making an offer to buy a house?
Yeah, absolutely.
How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. Now that you know your valuation, that's probably the max the property's worth.
Okay.
At that stage.
So it's a very good guide.
It's a very good guide, yeah.
Cool. And so can you use this guide then, say if you purchase a property knowing what the valuation is, to kind of give you an insight, maybe to see how it will gain value later down the line? Is it a good kind of guide? Or would that be more from a, like you said, a pre-sale perspective?
It's more of a pre-sale perspective. No one can tell whether the property values will go up or down within a specific period. But yeah, from a pre-sale point of view, it's a really good guide.
Quite a good guide. Oh, that's interesting to know. So just a quick Q&A from us. That's what it was, how to read into a property valuation. And obviously as well, if you are looking at buying a house or you found a house you like, this again is going to be quite an important step to get before you buy, so you actually know where you stand and again how much money you're willing to be prepared to pay.
Yeah. 100%. Like if I go back quickly, I'll step back into a valuation. So it's a 30-page document.
Wow.
So it's got, most of the stuff's fairly basic, saying what the mean income is, what the what most people do, occupation. So there's quite a lot of information. So just need to be mindful. The useful bits, what I call it, what I look at, is probably worth 1 page, where it says what your value is and what your conditions are of the property.
So look at that main factor. Maybe we can do a video on that another time.
Yep, that's it.
Definitely. But definitely something to look into, and then that will help you on your buying and maybe putting in an offer, that process. 100%. Cool. Well, that's us for today. I hope that was helpful. Now, if you have any questions about this topic or anything else property related, feel free to get in touch with us. We're always loving to hear from you guys and getting your feedback. We are available on all those platforms. So you've got Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and of course our website, nestainvest.com. So get in touch. We would really love to hear from you. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.